Before he gave us The Hills Have Eyes, before he gave us Nightmare on Elm Street, even before he gave us Scream, the late great master of horror himself, Wes Craven, gave us this. And with a little help from Sean S. Cunningham before he did Friday the 13th. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a film that is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. Let's talk about The Last House on the Left. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1972 exploitation horror flick The Last House on the Left, released by Hallmark Releasing and American International. This film was released on this very day, August 30th in 1972, so henceforth it's the film's 50th anniversary. The film was directed and edited by Wes Craven in his directorial debut, and was produced by Sean S. Cunningham. The film follows a hippie teenager named Mari Collingwood, who is abducted, raped, and tortured by a fugitive family on her 17th birthday. When they unwittingly seek refuge in her home, the killers face the vengeance of her parents. Now, Craven based the film on the 1960 Swedish film called The Virgin Spring. Yes. Now, of course, Craven developed this with Sean S. Cunningham after recently working with him on a film called Together, which came out a year before that. And once the filmmakers obtained small funding from Hallmark Releasing to make another feature film. Craven wrote a script originally overtly pornographic on the concept of shock factor, wanting to depict violence in a realistic manner. Once casting began, Craven promised the actors auditioning that the film would instead be a traditional horror film. And this film was initially damaging to Craven's career and was controversial for its marketing with the tagline, "Can a movie go too far?" advertising its violence. While not being a massive box office draw of drive-ins and what have you, it grossed $3 million against a budget of under $90,000. Critics derided the film for its confrontational violence and Craven's use of black comedy scenes of slapstick comedy, intercut with scenes of rape and humiliation, all that jazz. And I'm getting ahead of myself. I think a lot of you have seen the movie, so let's get into the story. Mari Collingwood plans to attend a concert with her friend Phyllis Stone for her 17th birthday. Her parents, Estelle and John, express their concern about her friendship with Phyllis, but let her go and give her a peace symbol necklace. The two teens head into the city, and on the way they hear a news report of a recent prison escape involving criminals Krug Stillo, a sadistic rapist and serial killer, his heroin-addicted son Junior, Sadie, a promiscuous psychopath and sadist, and Fred Weasel Podolsky, a child molester, peeping Tom, and murderer. Before the concert, Mari and Phyllis encounter Junior while he is trying to buy marijuana. He leads them to an apartment where they are trapped by the criminals. Phyllis tries to escape and reason with them, but she fails and is gang raped. Meanwhile, Mari's unsuspecting parents prepare a surprise party for her. The next morning, Mari and Phyllis are bound, gagged, and put in the trunk of Krug's car and transported to the woods. Mari recognizes that the road is near her home. Phyllis is forced to urinate in her jeans. And Mari and Phyllis are forced to perform sexual acts on each other. Phyllis distracts the kidnappers to give Mari an opportunity to escape, but is chased by Sadie and Weasel while Junior stays behind to guard Mari. Mari tries gaining Junior's trust by giving him her necklace and calling him Willow. Phyllis stumbles across a cemetery where she is cornered and stabbed by Weasel. She crawls to a nearby tree and is stabbed to death. Mari convinces Junior to let her go, but her escape is halted by Krug. Krug carves his name into her chest, then rapes her. Mari vomits, quietly says a prayer, and walks into a nearby lake where Crook fatally shoots her. Now I'm going to give you the final act and the ending. To avoid ending spoilers, I strongly advise you to stop this video at once and fast forward to the time below to avoid ending spoilers once I'm done with the 5 seconds, okay? But if you've seen the movie already, please continue, alright? Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. After they change out of their bloody clothes, the gang goes to the Collingswoods home, masquerade as traveling salesmen. Mari's parents let them stay overnight. The gang finds photos of Mari and realizes it is her home. Later, when Junior is in the midst of a heroin withdrawal, Estelle enters the bathroom to check on him and sees Mari's peace symbol necklace around his neck. She finds blood-soaked clothing in their luggage and overhears them talking about Mari's death and of her disposal in a nearby lake. Estelle and her husband rush into the woods where they find Mari's body and decide to take revenge. Estelle seduces Weasel, bites off his wanker, swallows it, and then leaves him to bleed to death. John takes his shotgun and shoots at Krug and Sadie, and Krug escapes into the living room and overpowers John before manipulating Junior into killing himself. John fetches a chainsaw and Krug attempts to flee but is incapacitated by an electrocution booby trap. Sadie rushes outside and falls into the backyard swimming pool where Estelle slits her throat, and the sheriff arrives just as John kills Krug with the chainsaw. End of story, my friends. Alright, so what did I think of The Last House on the Left? I gotta say, it's kind of a weird film, but, well, this was Wes Craven's earliest attempt, and I wanted to see what it was like. I gotta tell you, it's really, really shocking. Really is. Now, usually, I don't really care much for stuff, well, for Raymond and what have you, but even so, I have encountered in some other films before. But even so, it's still pretty good in some ways. Anyway, despite its issues, it has since achieved a cult following and was nominated for AFI's 100 Years, 100 Thrills. The film was particularly troubling for lead actress Peabody, who recalled struggling filming due to a constantly changing script and suffering abuse from her male co-stars. And that, of course, by Peabody, I mean Sandra Peabody, who plays Mari Collingswood. Well, due to a constantly changing script and suffering abuse from her male co-stars, as I've already mentioned, many of the other actors involved in the film have expressed regret for starring in it decades after its release. But still, I think the cast is, well, still not too bad. Now, aside from Sandra Peabody, who was pretty good, we have Lucy Grantham as Phyllis, who was good. David A. Hess plays Krug. Fred Lincoln plays Weasel. Jermaine Rain plays Sadie. No, what? Not Jermaine. Jeremy. My mistake. It's Jeramie. So it's Jeremy or Jeremiah. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Sadie and Mark Scheffler as Junior. Boy, those characters are really, really strange and what have you. We have lots of others, and we have Steve Miner, who would go on to direct Friday the 13th Parts 2 and 3 as a hippie taunting deputy, but he was uncredited though. Anyway, and the film passed with an R rating by the MPAA after numerous cuts were made. Craven claimed that on several occasions, horrified audience members would demand that theater projectionists destroy the footage, sometimes stealing the film themselves. Yeah. And a lot of it was wow. Now, many different versions of the film exist on various DVD and video cassette releases, struck from different cuts of the film, many of them from different countries. Now, to get a completely uncut version is difficult, as even some cinema machines cut footage from prints of the movie before screening it during the 1970s. Many copies were cut or hacked to pieces, and because of this, some scenes have become rarities. Anyway, yeah. Now, of course, there was a sequel, as Vestron Pictures would try to do a sequel, but the film fell apart in pre-production due to rights issues. Because a film called Twitch of the Death Nerd was also released under the titles Last House on the Left Part 2 or Last House Part 2 and New House on the Left. That's why. Also, let's see. In 2009, there would be a remake of the film by Rogue Pictures. And Wes Craven would be brought on board as a producer. Now, I have seen that film. I'll review that sometime down the road. But for now, with its intenseness and what have you, and its freakiness and some freaky, well, baddies and what have you, and wow, and the stuff like that, being an exploitation horror flick. Would I recommend The Last House on the Left? Well, I'd say maybe just to be on the safe side, give it a one-time watch. If it doesn't bother you much, then go for it again. I don't really consider this to be one of Wes Craven's best films now, even though I do have a little respect for the film for obvious reasons. But anyway, of course, after this, he'd go on to do The Hills Have Eyes, and then Swamp Thing, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, and so on. So anyway, The Last House on the Left, it's not too bad. So anyway, what are your thoughts on The Last House on the Left? Please tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a re-review of Rob Zombie's Halloween. Thanks for watching. If you like this, consider checking out my reviews of these films that Wes Craven would do after this. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of The Hills Have Eyes from 1977. The upper right-hand corner is my review of Swamp Thing from 1982. Or go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review of Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984. I don't know when I'm going to re-review it, but my review for that did pretty well on that when I put that up in 2019. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. And I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.